Hey, what's up, dads? I just want to talk about something I've been thinking about a lot recently, and that's the concept of being too comfortable. So what I mean by that is we live in an age where human beings have essentially everything they want in Western society. So specifically here in America, you have food whenever you want it. You've got entertainment whenever you want it. You have everything at the tip of your fingers. We're more comfortable than any human has ever been in general in history. Right, we don't have to go hunt our food and survive and resist the elements and things like we ever had to in the past. And I think it's killing us, especially men. I'm speaking to the dads out there, the men out there. I think it's doubly important for us because I think we're designed with this need to conquer, to challenge ourselves, to do something that's hard and challenging, and to feel that sense of adventure, even if it's a small thing. But we don't do that anymore. We go to our jobs. Most of us work inside in an office. We have air conditioning, we have heat in the winter. We never do anything that's difficult or scary or challenging like men used to, just on a day-to-day basis. And I think it's made us weak, it's made us timid, and overall it's just hurting us and by extension hurting our families. I'll give a personal example to kind of highlight what I'm talking about. So I left active duty in 2016 and I had a break in service of almost 3 years. I'm in the National Guard now, so that's just some context. But during those 3 years that I had left the Army, I convinced myself, hey, I've done hard work, I've deployed, I've served my country, I can relax now, I can enjoy the fruits of my labor, I don't need to be uncomfortable all the time anymore, and all this kind of stuff. And those 3 years were some of the worst years of my life, just on a personal level, not even all the adjacent things like my marriage and my family and work. I had surrounded myself with mediocrity, essentially. I built a prison of my own making by not pushing myself, by not embracing things that kept me sharp and honed me as a man, like the Army did. There's a lot about the Army I hated and didn't like, but there's also a lot of good things that came from that, and it made me constantly push myself to be more than I was. So in the comforts of my civilian life with this nice job and house and never having to really get out in the wilderness or anything like that, I just started sliding. I decayed. I became so miserable with myself, and it just permeated every aspect of my life. Having everything whenever you want it is not helpful. Self-gratification at every turn makes us weak. It corrupts our mind, and it takes our focus off of what's really important. So what do? How do we fix this? Men, let me make it clear, I'm not saying you have to go and be the world's greatest, He-Man at whatever. Just find something that challenges you specifically. So wherever you are in your life, maybe you've never worked out in your life, go pick up a dumbbell, just try it out. Just do something that pushes you a little bit further than where you are today. Being stagnant is slowly killing you. It's poisoning your mind, it's ruining your body, and it's just leading you to a quicker death, really. And by extension, it's making you less available for your family because you're not on the peak of your game, right? You're not sharpened, you're not honed. And one thing that's going to help you too is to build friendships that challenge you with other men who kind of pull you in different directions. Sometimes that's a good thing. Being challenged is a good thing. And we live in a world where everyone says that's a bad thing, and make your own truth and live your own morality and all that kind of stuff. That's nonsense. Men need other men, and you need to push yourself too to be more than you are today. And maybe it's just 0.001% more than it was yesterday, but that is improvement, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Slight little changes over time are what make the man, and that's what makes real progress over time. There's so many books on this kind of stuff. There's so many philosophers and great thinkers who have made that point numerous times in history. So don't live the lie of comfort, challenge yourself. Just some final thoughts. Delayed gratification is a really good thing, especially for men. It builds discipline, it builds patience, and it also ensures that you are staying focused on what's really important, your mission, your objective. Now, this doesn't have to be some grandiose thing, right? Your purpose in life, you can have multiple layers of that, right? Your greatest purpose may be being the best husband and father you can be, right? That's a very big, lofty thing. But then you can have goals that are below that are smaller, easier to obtain, easier to measure, that work towards your ultimate purpose, right? So I'm not trying to be too philosophical or anything like that. I'm trying to be very practical here. But by challenging yourself, willingly doing things that are difficult or uncomfortable, by practicing delayed gratification in all areas of your life, build that discipline and that sharpening factor that help you be a stronger, more determined man. And that's a great thing, right? If there was more determined, strong men, I don't mean just physically, in our culture, how much better would our society be right now? I think families are struggling because men have failed to embrace this truth, and I think it's just a hard fact of life that we've tried to deceive ourselves on. And so it's time to make that change, guys.